Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Look Back. This is a series that I do here on the Dice Tower where I look at reviews that I reviewed this week, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and 20 years ago. And I tell you what I think about them now, if I think about them at all. So let's jump back 20 years ago to 2004. I reviewed Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue was a game about building stuff in New York, and I hated it. And the main reason I hated it was because the game was all about another player setting you up to move. And I just really disliked that concept of it. 5 out of 10. This idea, I mean, it's nice components, nice idea, but me setting you up to take a turn to get points and everyone just kind of passes the buck until someone's forced to do it. Didn't like that at all. Spinergy is a party game that worked better 20 years ago than now. This really cool thing with these big wheels and you spun them and then you wrote a story and people had to guess kind of, the words, how these words fit into the story. I liked it. But this idea of writing out a story now just isn't as that's more work for a party game than I want to do at this point to literally write a story out. It might work in some situations. It's also just a very huge thing. But I did enjoy it, but still, it's just a 6 out of 10. 10 years ago, I reviewed Red Code. This is a sub versus sub game that was just such a mess, terrible in every way, 2 out of 10. Canopy Walk. This is a tile-laying game, and I tend to like, or I want to like tile-laying games, but this one's just building a path. Boring, not good at all. 4 out of 10. Ancient Terrible Things. This has been reprinted lately. This is a Cthulhu game with dice placement that I liked. One of the things I liked about this game is that it has art that is not the same as, like a lot of art for the Arkham. Like the Cthulhu stuff is basically, you often think of Fantasy Flight and all their artwork they've done for Arkham Horror and so on. This felt different than that, and I liked Ancient Terrible Things. 7 out of 10. Cryptos. This is a deduction game where you're trying to figure out what cards other people have in their hands. A competitive deduction game. There's not many of those. 7 out of 10. Colors of Kasane. This is where you're making fabrics for kimonos. Nice, very pleasant, interesting little card game. 8 out of 10. Speaking of little card games, Red 7, 8 out of 10 on this one. This game from Asmati is an interesting game because every turn you have to be winning at the end of your turn. Otherwise, you're out. Such a weird concept, but it's a neat little filler style game. It's still in the Dice Tower library. Definitely check out Red 7. And then Viceroy. This is a game I definitely considered for the Dice Tower Essential line. A game where you're building stacks of cards on top of each other. They all do powers. There's some theme no one cares about. Mayday did this one. There are some issues I have with it. I think that the bidding in it with 3 or 4 players can be a little tricky because you can bid and get nothing. But there's still a lot of really cool things about this game. 8 out of 10. 5 years ago, I reviewed The Mind Extreme. I'm kind of wishy-washy on The Mind, where you're all playing cards from 1 to 100. I know it works really well for a lot of people. But The Mind Extreme, where there's 2 piles, one going up and one going down, come on now. Don't take a simple thing and make it bad. 5 out of 10. Hoopla Stack. This is a dexterity game at the Dice Tower library where you put a hoop down and you pull out the bottom piece. That's it. I don't know that I would buy it, but it's great for a showpiece in a convention. It's great to play once or twice. 6 out of 10. Battlelands. This is from Plaid Hat Games, kind of a card-placed battling style game. Unfortunately, not as good as Summoner Wars and their other ones, but it has a Mice and Mystics theme to it. So 7 out of 10. 10 Days in Europe. This is the Broadway version of this game. And I really like Broadway bringing back this nice series of the 10 days. 8 out of 10. Sanctum. 5 years now I played Sanctum, which is basically Diablo, the board game. Sanctum is a game that would have a 10 probably for me because I like so much of the game. Building up you go and you fight monsters and you're slowly building up, and then you get to the final boss and it's meh. That final boss is meh. So I give it an 8. The rest of the game is amazing though. Monster Baby Rescue. So this is one that a lot of people haven't played. It's from Vladimir Suki. It's from Delicious Games. But when you look at this cover here, you think, yeah, it's a kid's game. Sort of, but it's a tile drafting game where you're getting these monsters and getting food for them and all the different, it's a pretty clever game. It's a very good game, 8.5. And then Project L. This is a game, a tile laying game that has had such success. It does so well that I upped it to an 8.5. It really is great. The plastic pieces, putting them in squares, Just it's polyominoes at its finest. So that Project L, really great. Last year, just one game during this time frame, and that was Apiary. Apiary, the big B game from Stonemaier Games. There's a lot of things about it I like. I don't know that it feels particularly balanced. I don't know that I love the flow of the game, but there's so much to do. A lot of good concepts in it. I don't know that the bees matter. It's space bees in the future, whatever. It gives you an excuse to build a hive-like thing there. But this is a good one. Not amazing, but good. 7 out of 10. So those are the games that I reviewed 1, 5, 10, and 20 years ago. Folks, thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been Look Back on the Dice Tower. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.